Would you look at that? Go ahead, just look at it. Sometimes you just gotta sit back and look. It is a beautiful day here. I am in Mission Beach in San Diego. Well, you're not here for the view. You're here for a nice podcast, and it is high at halftime. I'm your host, Shagwell and Bullock, or you can call me Shaggy. And this podcast, or this section of podcasts, the high halftime ones, will be about sports and cannabis, giving you an elevated take on on the latest sports news, along with how cannabis can help you through your athletic training. Now, before we get started in talking, it is high at halftime, so I hope you guys partake with me. If you have anything rolled up or packed up, let's go. I am right now smoking on the um, Tropicana from CBX. This is an orange crust crossed with an SFVOG. Really tasty, very euphoric, creative, and uplifting, and I just really enjoy it. So make sure you your local dispensary, or you can come see me at Cannabis in San Diego, and I'll make sure you get the best quality of product, or find the best quality. Not giving to you; they sell all legal states. But so as soon as we get started, everybody have your lights ready and enjoy. Everybody have a happy 420. And don't worry, I will get another pack so we can smoke at 420. But the terms that I've always heard with stoners is lazy stoner. Weed makes you lazy. And no, it doesn't. Now, there are very calming effects. There are ways that it can intensify you not wanting to do things, but weed doesn't make you lazy. You are already, if you aren't getting up and doing what you need to. So, I've always wanted to prove that cannabis isn't the reason you're lazy. It could be your own ambition, your own choice, and understanding your tolerance, and also what you're using, which strains specifically can really help out. Um, Last year, I actually competed in the Spartan Trifecta, which is the Spartan Sprint, a 5K, the Spartan Super, a 10K, and then the Spartan Beast, which is the picture you saw as the thumbnail, was a 20K or a half marathon, 13 and a half miles, along with 35 obstacles. For each of those, I wanted to take my tolerance in edibles and show that I could still compete and compete at a high rate in these competitions. And I feel like I did really well. The sprint was just a way to test it. And then once my sister told me about the trifecta, knew I had to do it. At the sprint, I did 500 milligrams of edibles, and I started off with just some drinks. That turned to be very sugary. It was really hard to get down, um, but just still did it. And then at the next one, the super, the 10K, I increased my dosage up to 750 milligrams of THC. This is understanding my tolerance. Most people are 5 to 10 milligrams. My tolerance is starting about 500. Do not do as I say, or don't do as I do as I say. So understand your tolerance. Take a little bits at a time. You can always take more, but you can never take less. So always understand that. But I did 750 milligrams for the second one. And then the third one, the super, I did 1,000 milligram RSO syringe, or FSO. It's a full spectrum oil, so it's using the entire plant and it's using all the cannabinoids. The reason I went out with this challenge is because a lot of people don't understand that the people that are using cannabis medically for really, really severe issues, such as epilepsy, Parkinson's, cancer, things like that, they might start off with small dosage, but eventually they're taking these FSO syringes. And even kids like Charlotte's Web, yeah, she started on CBD, high amounts of CBD, but she eventually did need THC to help balance. It's all using the entire cannabinoids, not just the THC, not just the CBG, but learning about the CBG, the THCV, and using all of these will really help give a balance, a good balance, and also what you're needed sometimes for your body for these. So I wanted to take the same amount that some of these people were having to take daily and see if I could push myself through an intense program like the half marathon, which I did. I did it in 3.5 hours, and did all the obstacles. There's only one obstacle that I slipped on and could not complete. I got about halfway through the walls of climbing and my foot slipped and I just didn't do it. So you have to go through because people are waiting. But it showed that I could push myself to it. Now, with, I apologize. It is now 4:20. Almost missed it. A little alarm that didn't go off too well. So for anybody else, let's hit a 4:20. And I kind of recorded those events and did it, but I'm gonna be a lot better this year. I have signed up for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or the Rock and Roll Marathon, which is a full marathon, June 2nd, and I'm going to take another 1,000 milligrams. I'm also going to have people staged at every 5 miles with a bong and an edible pack for me. So if you're a company that wants to be a part of those edibles, I'm looking for more drinks, tablets, things that aren't super thick so I can continue running. Syringes, anybody like that, and also flower companies. Or if anybody wants to post up and help me get these videos, I need somebody at every 5 miles. So I need at least 5 people to have a bong ready packed for me, and also 5 people with to assist them with camera angles and everything so we can get these shots great. I'm also gonna hopefully raise some money for a charity, but I haven't figured that out yet, so I'm not gonna start asking for money until I figure out exactly what charity I'm going to donate to, and get that all situated first. But this weekend was crazy. Let's get more we will dive into that as well, but I want to have a blog and everything more detailed for the marathon. So let's get into this weekend and the craziness with March Madness, because it was absolutely hectic. There were more upsets than almost any year. I believe it was 10 upsets in the first round. It was absolutely insane. You had Yale upsetting Arizona, also Kentucky. They were supposed to go really, really deep, probably the Final Four, and they got knocked out in the first round. That was the biggest upset this weekend. I wanted to claim other ones. I am a James Madison alum, and I love JMU, and I really wanted them to go further. I even put a little wager that they would go all the way. That was just my homer and me, but we did get an upset over Wisconsin, but it was nowhere near the upset that was over Kentucky. That had to have been the biggest upset of the weekend, and it was incredible. But on the other upsets, you had Oakland having one of the most incredible games. Jack, I want to say it's Galick, but I could completely be butchering his last name, hit 10 out of 23s. He was 50% from the three and just absolutely put on a storm, 32 points in that game. And he just led the way for Oakland to take the upset. It was absolutely wild. And what's crazier is that's all he does. His attempts for the entire year for Oakland, it was 372. I could be a little up, but 372 3 attempts he has taken all year to 8 2-point shots. So that's probably somebody got a steal. He had a fast break and he took a quick shot. Like, there was so rare that he would ever take a shot. And that's all year. That's not in like over March Madness. That's nothing. He has taken only 8 shots compared to 372 shots of his three. So oh no, he could be like just a game. To me, he could be like a Kyle Korver potentially. I think Kyle Korver has way more to his game than this guy, but this guy could just be that specialty 3-point shooter. You literally don't do anything. He sits in the corner and just hits threes coming off the bench, and that can make him really good money, you know. But shout out to you, Jack. That was an incredible game. You also had CU, Colorado pull an upset as well. That was closer. That was only 10. I think the 10 versus an 8 seed. And then unfortunately, both CU and JMU, who I was rooting for, both were knocked out in the second round. CU brought it close. They were getting beat, and then they brought it really close. It came down to the last points. They kept fouling and everything. Shout out to them, especially in the Mile High. I love Colorado, and then even repping the Nuggets right now. But then you also had JMU. They did really good, upset at Wisconsin, like I said before. But unfortunately, yesterday they just got beat. Uh, but power to them. I mean, they have gone so much further than they ever did. Also, the applicants that have applied to JMU after winning that game against Wisconsin, they've gotten almost 40,000 applicants this year to go to JMU, and that is more than any year they've ever had. So I love to see JMU growing. Unfortunately, with growing and having exposure and doing so well, you have some negatives as well. And JMU has seen this twice this year. Our head coach, Scooby, chill. Our head coach. Oh, hey, hey, no. All right, so get a little adjusted. I have my running partner and other sport nut, Scooby Doo, chilling over. Come here. Chilling, knocking everything. So something I'll have to learn while I start shooting more and more episodes out of the Mystery Machine 2, Electric Boogaloo, is how to keep these two entertained during it. But Scooby helps me with my runs and training for my marathon. She's really good for the first 3 or 4 miles, but after miles 4 or 5, I pass her easily. So, but she helps keep me motivated for it, and she will be a part of a lot more episodes. But yes, I wanted a Great Dane. I wanted a big brown boy dog to be the perfect Scooby Doo, and she wasn't. But or I couldn't find them and everything. But she was actually the perfect for me. I did a cannabis education event right before COVID, and she was there, and so that's why my Scooby is a girl. But back to this weekend, March Madness. Sorry if that messes with the camera angles. Um, we're down to the Sweet 16. What's really crazy with this is 4 number ones are still in it, which has only happened like 4 times in the history of March Madness. Most of the time, at least one is knocked out. So you have North Carolina, Purdue, Houston, and oh my God, I can't believe I'm blanking on the next Connecticut. And Connecticut. Sorry, a little bit. We might do that occasionally. Out of the 4, I actually don't think they're gonna win. I mean, Purdue probably has the best chance, I believe. But I think it's gonna be Illinois taking it. They're ranked number 3. They're really, really good. Illinois versus Iowa. I was torn on my bracket. I had both of them facing each other, and I was torn who to go with. I went Illinois, but honestly, that could go either way. And I had the feeling that the team coming from that is going to win it all. Um, I don't know too much about college basketball though, so these are just going from my takes, paying attention in the last month to month and a half. I'm more professional basketball, and that the playoffs are getting closer and closer, so I will have an episode diving into that later down. But right now, it's all about March Madness. So the games I was able to watch while I was working, or the time I got off, or before work, catch. I caught all the highlights after, and I'm still excited because March Madness, anybody can win. And that's what I love about tournament style. And that's what I'm excited about college football getting expanded and their playoffs getting expanded, is because the more teams you have, literally anybody can pull away. Usually the bigger teams do, but all it takes is one game, one play, anything can happen. So congrats to all the underdogs that have won. Congrats to all the teams that are still in there. Um, Still rooting for SDSU because you guys are my hometown. I would love, or not hometown, but the town I'm in, and I would love for a parade and championship in here. But if not, I think Illinois is probably going to win it all. So I'm going to wrap up this episode of High Halftime. Join me tomorrow. I will be talking about the renovations on the RV. We will be diving into the paint and the floors. about how long it took me, how I decided on the colors, the flooring, and how much it cost me. So if you're looking into redoing an RV, there could be cheaper routes. There are ways that I did save money, but doing it the correct way, the right way, the first time is always the best way. So let's wrap it up with a bullhead. Also, I will be having a few guests lined up and be announcing those shortly. I will start doing an episode once a week where I will have a guest in the cannabis industries, a patient, a brand, just different people to interview and tell their story about how cannabis helps them or how they're helping the cannabis industry. So please stay tuned to that. I'm also getting more acquainted with StreamYard and just going to learn to use the equipment better. Uh, Let me know if there are any audio and video issues, except for obviously a dog changing the camera angle and saying, I guess apparently I look better this way. So I hope everybody had a happy 420, has a happy 420, and has a great rest of your day.